time and being here for our third Night of Broadway Stars show to benefit Covenant House, Florida. It's such an honor to have you here. It's such an honor to be back in this beautiful theater to be with Broward Center again. For those of you that may not know much about why you're here and who is this organization called Covenant House, Florida, Covenant House, Florida is part of an international organization that has been serving the needs of runaway, homeless, and at-risk youth in 15 cities in the United States, and we've been doing this work for 40 years. Here in Florida, we started 27 years ago with a crisis shelter that's over on Fort Lauderdale Beach that is available for young people who find themselves either without a safe place to go or just aren't sure what to do, where to turn. And over the course of 27 years of serving young people in this community as well as in Central Florida, I always feel like I want to say it in both ways. It's an honor, and it's also, it makes me sad to say that over the course of 27 years, we have served 35,000 different young people. Of course, you understand why it's an honor for us to do that, but I also hope you understand from our standpoint how sad it is that over that time period, 35,000 young people have found themselves either on the street or not sure where to turn. And so it is a privilege for us to do this work. It's a privilege for us to have you here tonight for this event. This is our third year of doing this show. It just keeps getting bigger and better every year, and we're so thrilled about that. You're going to be so wowed by the talent here tonight, not just from the people from Broadway who are here, and of course they are phenomenal, but they're very well trained. And so, you know, on some level we hope and expect, and we know we're going to be wowed by the music that they're going to do and the songs they're going to sing. What you may not realize is that when we get near the end of the show, you're actually going to be wowed, maybe even more so, by a group of young people who right now today are living in our facility here in Fort Lauderdale, living in our program, living in Covenant House. They're going to perform for you tonight. And everything I've heard from the rehearsals is that they will blow you away. So buckle in, get ready for a fun night. Thank you for being here and for being part of the dinner and the drinks and the auction. As my board chair has said already a couple times tonight, bid high, and you'll have a chance to do that later. We're going to just move through a couple of recognitions. I can't tell you how much of a privilege it is for me as executive director to have had this gentleman as our partner for this event. As I say, this is our third year. It grows a little bit each year, but this year we've just really sort of kicked the doors in terms of how many people have come to the event and the level of sponsorship. And I want to recognize and introduce to you the gentleman who has really been the chair of this event this year, who has not only been walking around with a Covenant House billboard on his back 24 hours a day for the last 10 months. He just talks about this work everywhere he goes. But when we've had our meetings, he's really been kind of the cheerleader. He's the one that's gotten us excited and gotten other people excited, new people, to come and sponsor this event and be part of this. Old friends who are back again for this event. And what struck me as I thought about introducing Jeff was not only can I say we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jeff's energy and his commitment to this event, but because Jeff represents Florida Power and Light, I guess on some levels we might not be here if it wasn't for Jeff. Please welcome our newest board member of Covenant House, Florida, and an incredibly committed and dear friend, Jeff Richmond. And so, Committee Chair Jeff Richmond, much appreciation for supporting our youth, our true stars for the third annual Covenant House, Florida Night of Broadway Stars. This is for you, my friend. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you very much. What an awesome evening. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I have the special privilege of recognizing our guest of honor, strong supporter of Covenant House, Florida, and who's carved out a successful path in our community. Our honored guest is Valeria Ochoa. Valeria is a familiar face in Golf Digest magazine and a familiar face on the Golf Channel. She's appeared in the Golf Academy Live, Golf with Style in Hawaii, the Big Break 7 All-Stars, and the Big Break 3 Ladies Only, the highest rated program that year on the Golf Channel. She consistently volunteers for golf events, including Covenant House, Florida's annual golf tournament, hosted by City Furniture each November, the Dan Marino Foundation, the Nat Moore Foundation, and many other organizations that support cancer research, multiple sclerosis, Down syndrome, and autism. She was the golf pro at Bonaventure and is now at the Weston Diplomat Golf Club and is the announcing talent for the Golf Channel Latin America this year. Ms. Ochoa? Thank you very much. Next, I have the privilege of recognizing two great supporters of Covenant House, Florida, and this event in particular. First, we'd like to recognize Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. Royal Caribbean was the marquee sponsor for the Night of Broadway Stars in 2010 and 2011. The organization also provided multiple cruises for the event's silent and live auctions, including cruises from its Amara Club Cruises brand, Azamara Club Cruises brand. Ms. Carmen Roig, who represents both Royal Caribbean and Azamara Club Cruises, thank you very much. Our next special recognition goes to Hyatt Regency Pier 66. Pier 66 immediately signed as in-kind sponsor for this year's Night of Broadway Stars. The organization graciously underwrote the Night of Broadway Stars preview event that we had in June, and also stepped up to provide accommodations for the talent that you'll see on stage tonight. We'd like to thank General Manager Glenn Spanier. And a special thanks also to Michael Barrett for all his assistance. Of course, we'd like to offer a heartfelt thanks to all of our sponsors who are listed on the screen behind me. They'll be coming. It's only because of you that we're able to host this fabulous event. And I wanted to especially acknowledge Florida Power Light Company for allowing me to serve this wonderful organization and for providing such wonderful support to this organization. And last but not least, I'd like to thank our marquee presenting sponsor, Accenture. Jan Grins, Accenture Senior Executive, was introduced to Covenant House, Florida, by me actually, at a dinner meeting at Seasons 52 a year and a half ago. And then at last year's Night of Broadway Stars. Since then, Jan has joined the Covenant House Board of Directors and has participated in several initiatives on behalf of the organization. I consider Jan to be a very dear friend, and I want to personally thank you, Jan, for all that you've done as a committee member and sponsoring this event, and for all your future support as a Covenant House Board member. Finally, Jan introduced us to Sean Fitzpatrick, who is the Miami office managing director for Accenture, and I now have the distinct privilege of welcoming Sean Fitzpatrick to the podium. Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Jeff. On behalf of Covenant House Board Member Jan Prince and the rest of us at Accenture, I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to what promises to be a spectacular show. Accenture is proud to be the marquee sponsor for Night of the Broadway Stars and to support the great work Covenant House across the U.S. has done, and specifically the work that's done here in Florida. The lives of homeless youth in our area are truly being changed by this organization, and so many of those young adults are now on a path to success thanks to Covenant House.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Accenture deeply admires the work Covenant House, and we share in the commitment to helping individuals build their skills. Our people's passion, experience, and desire to nurture talent and nurture talent and give back to the community come to life in our involvement with Covenant House. Through our Skills to Succeed initiative, Accenture has made it our goal to equip 250,000 people around the world by 2015 with the skills they need to get a job or build a business. As part of that goal, we have teamed with Covenant House Florida to create a pilot program offering classes that equip homeless youth housed at the shelter with a variety of life and career skills. Young people who participate in this program gain skills that will make a significant, lasting impact in their economic well-being and that of their communities. We are proud to be a part of these life-changing experiences. I have personally been involved in our skills program at the Covenant House Shelter, and I have even slept out on the street as part of the Executive Sleep Out fundraiser. To hear homeless youth tell their difficult stories and share their gratitude for our support is truly moving and rewarding. I encourage you to join Accenture in support of Covenant House and their life-changing work. In addition to supporting them by being here tonight, you have a great opportunity to provide support by bidding in the silent auction and participating in the live auction later in the show. And now for our Master of Ceremonies. Neil Berg is a composer and lyricist. He has written many shows, including Prince and the Pauper, which ran in New York for over 2 years, and his latest project, Grumpy Old Men the Musical, based on the Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon movie, recently finished a successful opening run in Canada and should be starting the tour of the U.S. in the near future. Neil's The 12 was presented here at the Broward Center and had its regional premiere in New Jersey in March 2012. Neil's 100 Years of Broadway tours all over the country, appearing over 100 times a year. But most importantly to all of us here, Neil is not just a performer who helps Covenant House, he is part of our Covenant House family. Through A Night of Broadway Stars, Neil has helped raise over $12 million for Covenant House and has touched and motivated our youth for the last 9 years. Last spring, Neil received the prestigious Ellis Island Medal of Honor, which exemplifies an individual's outstanding qualities in both their personal and professional lives. Past medalists include 6 presidents, as well as Nobel Prize winners and leaders of industry, education, the arts, sports, and government. Please welcome our host of the evening and true friend of Covenant House, Neil Berg.
I gotta tell you, we're here for one reason and one reason only. We're here to celebrate the incredible work of Covenant House. So when we do this first Broadway song, let me just tell you, when we do this on Broadway up in New York, it is traditional that it closes the show, but we decided to open with it to show you that the spirit that we are here to celebrate. Now when it is done, it is customary for everybody in their seats to get up and dance, and let's help celebrate. We start off with a song from Mamma Mia! Only 17. So I'm glad you're here to join us and celebrate the incredible work of Covenant House. I'll say it again, young and sweet, only 17. What draws me to Covenant House is I've been working with them for a long time. And you know, I know I'm preaching to the choir tonight, but let's remind ourselves. You know, there's so many great charities out there, and they're all worthwhile, all of them. But what draws us is because I think it's easy when you give money to a charity, to a charity that is for kids. You know, they're young, they're so sweet, they're innocent. Or somebody who's suffering from a terminal illness, we try and find cures. All of them incredible. But what about the kids who are at that age where they're 17, 18, 19? And these are kids from, you know, places that a lot of us here, let's be honest, a lot of us here don't go to. What happens to them when they grow out of being cute? What happens if they don't have a terminal illness and they have nowhere else to turn? That's what makes it special, because these kids that we're celebrating tonight, these are the kids that in everyday life we walk past and then we walk to the other side of the street to avoid because we're frightened. But these kids need a chance. These are the kids that usually get the last, I mean, no one looks at them twice except to run away from them. The Covenant House runs to them and gives them unconditional love. It's just incredible. And I'm proud to represent the Broadway community to come down. And tonight we have some of Broadway's greatest stars here to be here with you all, to talk about it, to sing about it, and to celebrate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this next Broadway star, what can I say? He's one of the great voices over the last generation. That's just not my opinion, it's fact. If you saw him star on Broadway in Dreamgirls, or Jesus Christ Superstar, or The Civil War, you know he can gospel it out with the best of them. But he also, what separates him is that he has an incredibly wonderful, legit voice. Beautiful. And it got him to be the first African-American actor to ever get the lead role of Jean Valjean in Les Miserables. But he has done many, many concerts for Covenant House. But here he is tonight in Fort Lauderdale. And we thought to start off his show, we'd go back in time. Broadway came a long time ago, first from opera, then operetta, and then vaudeville, and then finally in the 20s and 30s it took off telling story with music. But what would happen is a lot of the people who told that story, who worked on Broadway in the Broadway District, Times Square in New York City, after their shows, let me tell you what they did. They went to the other side of town where people didn't go. The forgotten part, up in Harlem, where they considered the really good music going on. And of course what happened is eventually that music from Harlem trickled down to Broadway, and Broadway exploded into a new sound. So here to do our tribute to one of the masters of Harlem and the Cotton Club, this famous Broadway star, this is our tribute to the late, great Cab Calloway, and we want you to sing along. Please welcome back Lawrence Clayton.
She was the roughest
You guys are amazing. Really are amazing. Okay. Not to bring the mood too down, but it's very interesting that, you know, when we do an event like this, a lot of times I come out of it that when you go down and work with the kids from Covenant House, and I say that word kids, they're not kids, they're adults, young adults. But when I go down and work with them, I'm always looking forward to seeing a lot of the people the next year come back. But the reality is that as great as the work the Covenant House does, you know, that's just a small piece of it, because the success rate is good, but that also means there's a lot of people who don't make it. And this next song I'd like to send out to all of the people who are not back with us and maybe who are gone forever. And we celebrate them too, and we wish they were here. Ladies and gentlemen, here to sing one of her arias, the star of the longest running musical of all time. You might have seen her on Oprah Winfrey. She's now a top motivational speaker, but she's known best, was just celebrated in New York, where they celebrated the 25-year anniversary of the longest running show of all time called The Phantom of the Opera. She was just up in New York because she had performed the lead role, perhaps the greatest soprano role of all time, longer than anybody else. Out of that 25 years, she performed it for over 10 years straight until recently. Ladies and gentlemen, here to repay the role, please welcome out the incredible Sandra Joseph. today. Hey guys, we're just starting, trust me. We're just starting. The creme de la creme. Privileged to call them my friends. This next singer, quite honestly, is one of the greatest baritones we have in the country, if not the world, at what he does. And he starred in some of the greatest shows of all time. I mean, he was the star on Broadway in The Scarlet Pimpernel, in Beauty and the Beast. He was Javert in Les Miserables. He's been starring a lot in Man of La Mancha. And the list goes on and on and on. But the big one is that just a few years ago, he starred at Lincoln Center in one of the greatest revivals in Broadway history when he played the lead role of Emile Debec in South Pacific. And it was interesting because Emile Debec's a Frenchman, but yet if you go back earlier in his career, he also got a chance to star and sing this incredible role from Camelot. And from Camelot came one of the greatest love songs of all time. And I'd like to dedicate this to all the kids from Covenant House, whether or not you've ever heard this song before, because it's a song where a man is decreeing his love for a woman and saying, I will never leave you. But yet, I tell you, I'm in awe of the Covenant House. As a matter of fact, I'm in awe of the staff and the volunteers of Covenant House, who've now dedicated their lives to going into the streets and working with these kids. And I want to honor you with this song as well, because I know if you could sing it to these kids, you would, because that's what makes you special, and that's why you are here for them, because you will never leave them. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the great baritones, welcome Mr. William Michaels.
If ever I would leave you, it wouldn't be in summer. Seeing you in summer, I never would go. Your hair streaked with sunlight, your lips red as flame, your face with a luster that puts gold to shame. But if I ever leave you, how could it be in autumn? How I'd leave in autumn, I never will know. I've seen how you sparkle when fall meets the air. I know you in autumn, and I must be there. And could I leave you running merrily through the snow, or on a wintry evening when you catch the fire's glow? If ever